or streaming.
It's
Okay, let's see, and then let's hope that it starts streaming soon. Oh, there you go. You're live now.
yay! Okay.
All right, everyone's live.
All right. Here's to hoping this does well. It's just a nice little art jam where I'll just start jamming today.
Yeah, I mean, I was just here to help her set up.
I'm gonna gently move my stuff over. Just very gently. Just very, very gently.
Oh, there it is. There it is. It's working.
Okay. Already screwing up, I'm sorry. Okay, we reconnected. Shinobi Requiem is saying hello.
Hello.
And it looks like we got Shadow Wolf Prime in the chat too. Hello.
We got people. There's people there.
Oh my god, we got people? What the fuck are you doing here?
I mean,
You're not being communist, that's what.
you're never gonna
Fucking
do that.
commies.
Commies are bad. I mean, yeah, they're trying to oppress all those poor people, and we are very much against that. I am very pro free all the Hong Kong people, so we decided to do a stream where we just draw pro Hong Kong stuff or just draw out. I like drawing, and you guys get to see draw.
I'm not drawing. I'm just doing.
All right, let's start with something simple. I'll teach you how to draw a little Katie Wonder.
Aw, you don't need to do that. We should draw lots of things. You can draw whatever you want.
Does that include the butt face?
Yes, you may. Yes, your butt face is drop dead gorgeous. We're very happy for it.
Right. All right, that's about enough of the. It's about enough of the butt face.
Are you gonna delete the butt face?
I'm not deleting it. I'm just moving off of it.
He's moving on. He's moving on from the butt.
Yeah, you should do something amazing with your art.
Yes.
We got so much art here today.
Amazing.
Well, maybe everybody should introduce themselves. Hang on, I'll go through.
Apparently, we're echoing.
Oh, we are.
No, do you have your headphones in or not?
I do have my headphones in.
Or
Maybe I have a secondary audio input capture.
Barely a minute, and we've already boomered the stream.
Microphone hearing it though, but
I mean,
well, I mean, okay, wait. If we're on speaker and you don't have your headphones in, that's what's going to cause echoing.
well, I have my headphones in.
I mean, I don't do it. Does anybody else hear echoing? Because I don't.
I don't either. Sounds fine to me.
Nope.
Maybe it might just be from that guy's end. Maybe his audio is.
Oh yeah, true.
My end?
I'm just being called a dork.
This is. I mean.
Well, that is a fact.
That is very true.
On a scale of 1 to 10,
nerd.
Chad, how adorkable is nerd?
Not very adorable.
I mean,
See,
Let me see
I'm
the
not
chat
used to drawing. I am not used to drawing on a tablet.
Just
I got a tablet, but I mainly use it for coloring.
hey, go with the flow. It is good to practice and learn.
Yeah.
Let me get a May sketch too. We're all, I guess most of us are gonna draw May. Nibble's gonna draw butt later. Maybe some communist Winnie the Poohs. You never know.
I mean, the world will never know.
I met my butt quota today.
You did meet your butt quota. We're very proud of you.
For me, I'm just doing an editing of an image that I promised a friend of mine I'd edit for him.
Oh, you're absolutely allowed to. George is actually drawing for his new comic, Mary Sue. I am in.
Ooh, what's it about?
Oh, it's so amazing. I don't know if you can talk right now. But
Yes.
it's,
Sorry.
No, you're absolutely fine.
It's about a lady who pilots an overpowered exosuit and fights people and blows everything up.
Nice, nice.
Just like May.
Just like me. So what you're saying is, May from Overwatch is also a Chinese revolutionary symbol.
Oh, wow.
Well, it depends on which revolution you're talking about.
Oh my. I think May would be for I would be fighting against Hong Kong.
Oh yeah, totally. Freedom of the people and everything.
I mean,
She doesn't do much DPS on her own, but she.
And I'm gonna give this
good
little
with
nerd
support.
wonder. Nerd, you're gonna get little Todd McFarland.
For me,
you know,
I'm just working on it. There's like a.
I need one more reference. So something I've been talking to Nerd a bit about as far as the China Hong Kong thing is dealing. I've actually done a lot of reading before on the history of the Chinese Communist Party. I kind of specialize in their interactions with religious groups, mostly Christians. And there's a book that I've read before and I've been rereading before this stream called God is Red by Liao Yiwu. And if you don't know who Liao Yiwu is, one of the things that he's an outspoken critic of the Chinese Communist government. And he actually has been arrested before for writing a poem about the Tiananmen Square massacre.
Oh wow!
So he's actually done jail time for opposing the CCP. So he's pretty legit.
Mm-hmm.
The book is pretty interesting because it's a lot of first-hand accounts of Christians trying to navigate the Chinese communist regime, and a lot of it involves them. A lot of it involves like a bunch of mobs rounding people up and publicly torturing them.
Yeah, that's
Damn.
like China. Oh yeah,
Like,
you know what they do a lot of crazy stuff. To
Oh yeah,
religions.
for sure.
And mind you, a lot of these stories are from the time of the communist takeover around 1949 on through the Cultural Revolution and the Great Leap Forward and all that fun stuff
Oh,
that
everybody.
you may or may not know about.
Oh, yeah, everybody loves that, don't they? About the
Oh yeah, it's
Square and the censorship, and let's just burn everybody.
the Tiananmen Square massacre that totally didn't happen, guys.
Yeah, it totally didn't.
Totally didn't happen, which is why we're going to arrest you if you talk about it.
Just like in Watchmen, the TV series.
Okay, I haven't.
And that's a little bit of exaggeration,
Oh, please,
but
that's
yeah,
what they did.
yeah.
You know, you're gonna have to walk me through that because I did not see it.
Okay.
Okay. So, in this future, where remember, Ozymandias won. In this future,
Sure.
it is the current year of 2019, where now cops have to hide their identities
Okay.
and remain anonymous about them being cops.
Okay, that kind of makes sense.
What else?
I'm
Shoot.
assuming this gets crazier.
Well, they can bust in to any person's home with the littlest of suspicion.
Yeah,
They
you
can
know.
go into your house.
Okay, so they don't need probable cause.
Nope.
And
Nope.
they don't need a warrant to search your house. They can just bust in.
Yeah.
Hello, we think there's some white supremacists in your house. Excuse me while
Why
I...
would you
Literally,
think that?
Like one of the characters literally says, "I can smell white supremacy." Like often.
What?
Yeah?
Yeah.
What does white supremacy smell like?
Apparently...
Bleach.
Chicken fillet.
Chicken
Smells-
fillet.
It smells like bleach.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, sure. I mean, generally, like, I can tell where, like, if I'm out and about and I smell, like, sage or rosemary or something, it's a pretty good bet that there's a Wiccan nearby, but I don't know what white supremacists smell like.
Hey, man.
Barbecue and racism?
What does
Listen,
racism
barbecue's
smell
delicious.
like?
I don't know. anything that is white people, because that's how today's culture. I don't know, but it screams China.
With nothing to look forward to but the smell of mayonnaise.
All right, but the thing is,
So, better question: what's more racist, Miracle Whip or like Thousand Islands?
But like throughout that whole entire thing, I only saw like a bit of the end and so forth. But all I can think of is, isn't this what a evil dictatorship tends to do? Like, we've heard of these regimes. We've also seen Nazis do this kind of stuff, and yet this is being showcased as the good thing to do. Throughout this whole entire show, this whole entire thing is that, oh, it's okay because we're looking for bad people. Well,
It's okay because we're violating the right people's rights.
yeah.
How do you know they're the right people? Because we told you they are.
I'm gonna have to watch the next episode to see if they fucking address how.
Yeah.
This man has still hope for this show. Pray for him.
You know me. I have way too much hope for everything.
No, I love you for doing that because honestly, we need more hope in this world. So, I want you to keep that. I want you to keep that.
Unless you're in the business of killing her.
Yeah, we're not a big fan of that.
You can't kill hope. Can't I?
I mean, well, are we talking about Hope from like Final Fantasy? I mean, a lot of people want to kill him.
Nobody likes Hope.
Well,
He's a whiner.
wait, who?
Who?
There's a character named Hope
Sorry, I
from
don't
Final
speak
Fantasy.
weeb.
Which Final Fantasy is this?
Oh, so in 13.
The whiny
That's
kid.
probably why I don't remember it. Everyone's a whiny kid in 13. How am I supposed to tell them apart?
Okay, that's
by
No.
their shape of anime hair.
Okay.
okay, that is true. You can.
Not even
Well,
body
yeah.
type, just shape of anime hair.
Or beanie. Their animu beanie.
Oh yeah, that's right. They had beanies. That series was very.
Wait, wasn't this the one with the fucking chocobo on his head? Like it was
yes,
some
Chocobo
fucking.
and the afro.
Do you know how smelly he must be,
Actually, to
dude?
be fair, the chocolate that's in his hair actually was a pet for his child.
Still, like, imagine how fucking nasty that fucking afro must be.
The poop gives me the memories. It reminds me of how things were, how things could be. Ah, yes. I remember clearly.
I remember clearly thanks to the poop.
Thank you, poop.
Mhm.
Thank you very much.
Kids are so weird, and I love you.
To be fair, Saz is like one of the best characters in that series. In that game.
Probably.
You said something, nerd?
No, I was just saying, we're all crazy, but I love you all.
We love you too.
Oh, thank you.
Like he just wants to have his kid back. That's the only reason why he does it. He does not care about the rest of the character.
Cool.
Saz.
I mean, he
We have
kinda
that in
cares
common,
about
at least.
lightning.
Neither do I.
I liked parts of 13, but like I don't think it was as good. Like it wasn't as good as it could have been. There's certain things like I don't
15
like.
was definitely the way.
What?
15. I liked Final Fantasy 15.
A lot of people
We
did.
were talking about 13.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, we're moving on to different subjects. We can talk about all sorts of different stuff, but yeah, mostly the focus is on the Hong Kong issues, I guess. But at the same time,
And how it is affecting American media.
I mean, yeah, David, I have to watch the new.
Yeah,
episode of
no,
South Park.
that is, yeah.
I heard it.
We can't change hearts and minds in China, but we can we can make people here care about.
I think a lot of people
What's
do
going
I
on?
care.
mean, we can definitely put down recognition with China. I think that's very important. That in and of itself, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot to dissect with the Hong Kong issue in particular. So, how familiar are y'all with the particulars of the Hong Kong protests that led up to would be to arrest Hong Kong citizens for committing acts that would be criminal on mainland China,
Like Winnie the Pooh.
like when you or any kind of speech or thought crime would be actionable by the CCP, and you could potentially arrest a Hong Kong citizen for doing something the CCP doesn't like. This understanding is what sparked the protests, and there's a lot of the iconography and a lot of the imagery around the protests that I'm kind of wondering how much of it is connected to the protests against the extradition bill and how much of it was the pro-democracy protests from a couple years ago that on the umbrella protest. By the way, a couple of symbols to look out for Hong Kong protests: umbrellas.
Mm-hmm.
Umbrellas are from the umbrella protest was a pro-democracy protest in Hong Kong from a couple years ago, and the reason the umbrella became a big symbol is partially because it was kind of an innocuous item that you can carry around you to signal that you are you're part of the movement. And another use of the umbrella is also to repel tear gas.
I heard about that.
Yeah. So that's one of the symbols. Another symbol that I think might have been connected to the more recent protests about the extradition bill is the right eye, particularly a person covering or closing their right eye, which is a reference to.
Well, there was that girl that lost her eye.
Yeah,
it was. She was a nurse, although I don't know if it was confirmed whether or not she was part of the protest.
It was confirmed, I believe, that she was part of the protests.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
So,
I made the eye the wrong way, so now Nerd is saying comedies backwards.
fun. But anyway, the missing right eye is the nurse that lost her eye during a confrontation between the protesters and the local police, and now it's kind of one of the gestural symbols, putting your hand over your right eye, or something that I've been doing for some of my art, because I've been working on a different. That's a babby. So I've been working on a different little picture for Hong Kong here. If Nerd is still around to focus the picture on it. Oh yeah, you are here. Okay. So I kind of did it in a bit of a more subtle way for this picture, with May closing the eye instead of covering it. So I got the umbrella, got the eye closed. I did not have a respirator or that's the butt. I didn't have the respirator or the mask for it. But the respirator and the mask are. That's a babby. The respirator.
Oh, did you hear her? I'm sorry.
Yeah, we can hear her.
Hang on, I'll be right back. You guys keep talking. I'm gonna try and help her out.
But yeah, Can we mute? I don't know. Okay, so.
Let her do her aunt stuff.
But the respirator and the little the surgical masks have also become a symbol of the protests. Largely, again, it's kind of the same as the umbrella. It's something to help deal with tear gas. The Hong Kong police make a pretty liberal use of tear gas in crowd control.
I've noticed.
They also shoot people a lot.
They're trigger happy.
Yeah, you thought American cops were bad. Excuse me. It gets pretty nutty. I just think it's kind of interesting that of all people, they chose the United States to represent the kind of freedom I'd like to have. Not that I'm complaining.
I think there's a reason for something of that nature.
Oh, definitely. The CCP thinks that the reason that Americans have been chosen is that the protests are an American op that's meant to disrupt the stability of the country by sparking meaningless protests. And it was like, yeah, okay, China, because an extradition bill where a previously liberal democracy and its citizens can be persecuted on the basis of Chinese communist speech controls. Yeah, that wouldn't be a big deal to anybody. There's no organic growth for such a movement. Why would you think that?
No.
By the way, if you say no, your social credit is going to go through the floor. Just letting y'all know.
No.
Oh, there it goes, all the way through the floor, down to China. There's an old joke for you.
The other interesting thing is also, recently, Hong Kong is also coming up into scenarios where, so Hong Kong is technically kind of separate from the rest of China, due to
the one country, two systems rule is kind of, it's interesting, but you kind of get this feeling that the CCP really doesn't like it and wants to do away with it as quickly as it possibly can.
Yeah,
of course.
It's part of what the Hong Kong protesters suspect is part of the motivation for the extradition bill.
Yeah, because there's a ruling that's coming up real close about whether or not Hong Kong is going to go back to China 100%, and that's, I think, part of the reason why the protests are going on as well.
Definitely, because one thing that I was going to mention about it was kind of funny is that China did eventually back off from the extradition law, but I think they were under the impression that they thought that walking that back was going to calm things down, but they assumed that it was just about the extradition law, but there's a lot more going on between these two countries than that.
Oh yeah.
These are fundamentally people with such diametrically opposed worldviews and diametrically opposed philosophies on how people should be governed and how a country should operate, that it's kind of inevitable that it would blow. And for a while it had.
Well, yeah, I think we were. I think you were kind of like.
Is the baby okay?
Very
Well, its lungs work.
Oh dear. I'm sorry about that.
It's okay. You were being a good aunt.
I try to be. I love my niece. She apparently was really interested in a phone, which she could not get, and so she got very, very, very sad, and she was chasing people trying to get their phones.
I want your phone.
I want the phone.
Give me your phone.
We're trying to.
I will play gotcha games until I play too many of them.
And we have to kowtow to China.
Yep.
Before it was just the redneck kicks. Now it's the communist.
I mean,
I'm simplifying, of course.
It's just before it was the communists and the redneck.
Yeah. Now the other thing you also keep in mind is, let your Congress know. But the second thing you can do is also pay attention to what these companies are buying. If you don't want to give your money to them, that's your decision to make. But knowing what they have rulings in will definitely help that. So if they have so let's say they have let's say example, Riot Games. Riot Games is owned by a Chinese company, and that Chinese company is owned by the government in China. All right. So if you don't want to support them, don't play any games that Riot owns. Another good example, don't play stay away from things like League of Legends. Stay away from because again, Riot owns shares in that. Look into what Tencent owns. Stay away from Epic Store. Stay away from Overwatch, stuff like that. Companies that if you can look into them, you'll know which one, how much they own into what, and then you can use that to, to show your buying decision. And if asked, we've noticed when they do surveys, for customer surveys, when asked why you feel like why did you leave? And he'd be like, well, I feel like your ties with like this government is having a negative effect on your customer service sales for me as a consumer, and I don't feel like be respectful about it. Don't just attack. Be like,
Yeah,
like don't be
professionalism makes you seem smart.
exactly, and that's kind of what's important here when you're doing that.
It's also important to remember that if you have friends that do play these games or are
Just inform them.
or
Don't
purchase-
force them.
yeah, don't go after them about this stuff. If they want to do it, that's their business. I mean, you can talk to them about the news a bit if you want, and if that changes their mind about it, fine. And if it doesn't, fine too. Because something I was talking to Corrupt about a while ago is that the thing that's really sad about especially the Blizzard problem is, I mean, at least both of us think this. It's not a universal opinion, but both of us still think that Blizzard still makes, fun games. They still make good properties, which makes it really sad that that we'd have to back off from them because of dumbass shit that corporate is doing.
Yeah, obviously. Also,
I mean,
we'll be getting one more person on the chat in a few seconds. Just to...
If some people can make the disconnect from like the other question is like how much of a disconnect are you willing to make from the art and the artist kind of thing? And
that's a classic question.
Yeah, and so here's the question: like that differs from person to person. If they're willing to make that disconnect and they're okay with it, that's fine. Like keep in mind, like you yourself might make that disconnect somewhere else that somebody else can't. You know what I mean?
And there's very good reasons to not make that disconnect, and there's very good reasons to make the disconnect.
Yeah, like whether you shouldn't berate somebody for that decision.
That's like going to a person eating at a McDonald's, slapping their hand away, and screaming, "Don't you know that people in that..."
Screaming horribly.
What?
Yeah, I also heard somebody dying.
Was it me?
Well, I don't know about...
No, that was my, I'm sorry, that's to make the baby laugh.
I see. So your baby finds constipation funny.
Yeah.
That's fun, so do I.
Alright, there we go. There's a little man.
That was not...
Where are my rollies?
Well, it works on Nerd too, so.
Well, at least you know where the baby got it from now.
They got it from someone that she's only tangentially related to.
Yeah.
So about like talking about being able to separate the art from the artist.
Yeah.
I like getting into broad topics.
Oh no, that's a really important one.
Yeah, because there's a couple schools of thought on that I honestly can't really refute either of them. Like, one school of thought is separating the art from the artist is about judging a work based on its merits. Like the person behind it. I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard of the death of the author principle.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. I'm not sure.
I have not. Can you explain?
Okay. As I understand it, the death of the author is the idea that the way that you evaluate especially a literary text, the way you evaluate it, that's a perspective where you evaluate it based just on what the text says. You don't look at what the author intended. You don't look at anything that has been written about it. You judge it based solely on what the product shows. And if you're doing that, you're judging it just on the merits of the product or of the work. And they call it death of the author because imagine you have this like ancient manuscript that was written
across comics. We are drawing May from Overwatch.
Well, I think a lot of us are. But yeah,
some people aren't. Some people are drawing their own thing. I mean, this is a jam stream where we just talk about stuff and we're having a good time.
We talk about China.
I am editing a Digiman.
Okay, yes, you are. But it's just a nice jamming stream. But we're gonna have
Let
fun.
me draw a huge penis so this gets flagged.
Oh my gosh. Well, guess what? I don't monetize my videos, so
I mean, I've already got a butt for that.
yeah, he did that in the beginning. I actually will probably edit the video to have that as the tag, just the giant butt.
Big old butt.
Yeah,
Big old butt.
Big old butt.
I like big butts, and I
So-
can't lie.
And all the other folks can't
You other brothers can't
deny.
deny.
Did you just try and sing a rock and roll melody to that song, Jess?
Have you never heard a Jonathan Colton cover?
No.
So like big butts? Alright, after the stream I'm showing that to you because it's hilarious.
Yeah, Jonathan Colton does some crazy like.
And then it got stolen by Glee.
Wait, Glee stole from Jonathan Colton, really?
Oh yeah, Glee
Did-
made
did
the
they-
same rendition. It was exactly like the Jonathan Colton song.
Did they at least they didn't even credit him, did they?
No,
Apparently, they're known notoriously of not crediting a lot of people.
Yay!
Jesus Christ, Glee.
Hey, guess who else is known for stealing people's intellectual property?
Oh,
China.
and so I heard that they made a League of Legends knockoff.
There's a lot of dispensaries popping up around here to reflect that.
I mean, honestly, when it gets legal everywhere else, I think all of us should invest in some stocks in Funyuns. And
I guess that would be investing in Frito-Lay in general.
Yeah.
Although this hinges on greater marijuana consumption as a result of its legalization, when I'm not quite convinced that's what would happen.
You think it'll be the reverse?
I think it'll go down because
It's
that's kind of how it happened with
liquor?
alcohol after prohibition. Yeah, it sort of just evened out.
Almost like maybe we should just legalize it anyway. Also, Colorado lost their whole entire debt. They've lost a ton of debt from it. Like they got themselves out of quite a bit of debt from
Are you saying that marijuana could erase the national debt?
a little bit.
Like, people usually want something because they can't have it.
Yeah, that's
You know?
true.
Yeah,
That's just
Like
the
freedom in Hong
forbidden
Kong.
Ha ha! Brought it back around.
I laughed way too hard.
For them. Sorry.
Alright,
continue
this is gonna be
conversation.
awful. This is gonna be an awful sketch of Mary Jane Watson. This is just, I'll be honest, I'm just practicing how to drawing women because I'm not comfortable with it.
You're not comfortable with drawing women?
No, I'm not comfortable drawing, like, the lips.
Sexist.
What really sucks for me is drawing lips.
Gotta draw those big, full lips.
I'm comfortable drawing the female form, it's just the lips are
Really?
the scary part.
I would have
Yeah.
never thought.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have a look at what you're doing.
Those
so-
big, full, kissable lips.
Let's zoom in a little bit on that one. We're gonna go and zoom in.
Wo ist das?
There you go, lips.
God, I can't tell which one is jest.
Oh, okay. Apparently,
He's the-
all right. So, Ultimate Agent wants me to tell you guys about the Dawn,
Oh,
the blessed Dawn. Oh, yes. So, in the Captain Marvel, there's a guy who shows up called the Dawn, who Captain Marvel, breaks his hand.
Oh, okay.
Now,
That guy.
if you guys ever watched EFAP, they decided to make the Dawn a meme.
Oh, I didn't know he had a name.
Well, I mean, he calls himself the Dawn when he introduces himself to Captain Marvel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they decided to make the Dawn a meme because we have wonderful stories.
The
This-
Marvel movie.
Is the biker dude?
He was
Hmm.
just
The-
telling her, from what I recall, like, you'd be prettier
Let
if
me-
you smiled or something.
We're just
Like, you know what? Hashtag Dawn for Hong Kong. There you go.
Dawn for
Oh
Hong
my
Kong. He will
God.
save us from the Captain Marvel regime.
Yes.
Regime. I don't know. Like, I mean, she's owned pretty much by China. Like, everything.
None,
Don't worry.
none of the comics. The comics
I mean,
are...
yeah, well, the comics are pretty much also kowtowed to China in a way. Like, let's face it, those movies are Disney doesn't want to upset the Chinese, like the South Park episode said. So yeah.
It's true.
And I'm not saying like I like stuff from Disney. I like a lot of their old movies. I love their theme parks. I like a lot of stuff, but I'm not very happy with this decision of, hey, let's just try and get those China monies. It's like, no, whoever's running this boat needs to get fired quickly.
I'm gonna stop sharing my screen here because
Well, I think some good news about the whole China debacle, and something that I've talked to some friends about. That it's even united different factions in Congress.
I know, it's the I think it's wonderful.
It is so. It's so great, and it's so weird to have freaking AOC and Marco Rubio having their signatures on the same letter.
We can all get...
That is crazy.
Ooh, I'm gonna make hair bun Mary Jane. That's gonna be nice and casual.
Also, you guys apparently saw for a second there. I noticed you guys saw like my background picture. Yes, I do have a crazy bimbo background picture that I decided to like edit.
Why not? Crazy bimbos are great. You love your bimbos.
Oh, no, never mind. I don't know how to.
I do lewds. Anyway, I'm gonna head on out though. You guys have a good one. Enjoy the rest of the stream.
All right, take care.
And again, I recommend searching up some Dawn memes when you get a chance. They're fun.
I shall.
Yes.
Thank you
Peace
so
out.
much for informing us about this.
No worries. Like I'm sure there's like a few people who like cut down some of the videos from EFAP for you to watch if you want to. EFAP's a great podcast, so if you've never watched it. It's Mahler, Rags, and sometimes Wolf is on there. I mean, Wolf used to be a mainstay on the podcast, but he hasn't been on in a while. We'll see if he comes back again or not. I'd like to see him come back. And I think Fringy's becoming a bit of like a mainstay on the podcast now, so that's pretty cool.
By the way,
peace out, guys.
if you guys haven't noticed, Joshua, I think, is drawing Mecha Kami Winnie the Pooh. Everybody can draw? Everybody can have a good time?
Everybody gets one.
Yes. Yes, I did.
Condom?
If that was true, we would have plenty of babies around.
Yes. Why not?
Everybody gets one.
Everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yo.
How's it going?
Thanks for having me.
Who these? Your phone, who this?
Introduce yourself to everybody?
I got a lot of background noise, so I'm staying muted.
No, it's okay. It's okay. This is you should try an amazing picture.
So who do we have in the call now? Just...
Okay. Oh, you said who's in the call?
Yeah.
That'd be Joshua David. You can find him on Twitter. He goes, I think, Joshua David Art. Hang on.
All right.
Double checking. Do not want to screw this up. He's a really, he goes by Joshua David Art on Twitter. So yeah.
All right.
Beautiful artist, as you can see. We all got fun artists here today.
Yeah.
We all had a good time.
I'm the sucky one.
You are not the sucky one.
I'm joking. You know, I just don't know how to draw women lips.
Listen.
Well, I mean,
you need to start somewhere. Alright?
I was gonna say, since this is a Hong Kong stream, you could bypass that, giving her a surgical mask or a respirator.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh, yeah.
Or you could put blood on and then censor it because China's against blood.
Really?
Yeah, okay. So
They also hate skeletons for some reason.
yeah, okay. So
Skeletons?
yep. So they don't like the doot. So they can't be part of spooky time.
No spooky time for them.
Yep. Okay, so the story goes that there was research into what was happening to Diablo in China, and it turns out they found out that there was a ton of censorship. All blood is changed to green. Skeletons are removed. Anything that looks like body deformities and so forth, even on demons, will be completely altered. It's a large censorship. I mean,
Is this why the British Film Board banned villains with facial deformities?
I don't know. Because
Spooky is the right of all sentient beings.
thank you, Optimus.
Remember,
Only
I forgot.
it almost sounds like you're being
Geneva
Smokey the
Con
Bear.
must be stopped.
Only you can prevent Geneva Con, no matter the cost.
Gosh. I love this. But yeah, everybody seems to be doing a really good job on their pictures. I'm kind of messing up on mine. I'm just sitting here and I'm like, oh dear God, my stuff looks like John.
Admittedly, I'm lagging a lot. I am lagging a lot.
Don't worry,
That's
I'm lagging a lot. I think it's shutting down. But I think everybody can, luckily it gets a little bit glitchy, but everybody manages to get back in. No problem, so that's good. I mean, it's not like it shuts down for too long. Just, I think the stream stops for a moment, which is probably a little bit inconveniencing. I'm sorry, guys.
What? It's fine.
No, I think she means to the audience.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Oh. Yeah, I don't care about the audience. They can go suck an egg. I don't know.
Wow.
I'm kidding.
You sound
I'm
perfect
kidding.
for Hollywood.
Right?
Yeah, you also sound
Shouldn't I
perfect
be a
for China.
producer?
You should.
I can make the new Chinese superhero movie Bloodshot starring Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel.
Are they
No,
gonna
it's
change
Vin
his name?
Diesel.
It's Vin Diesel. He's the knockoff.
Because they can't
They-
show blood, so he's gonna be a green slime man.
He's made entirely of hamburger meat, carefully sculpted and crafted to conceal anything that could be construed as a deformity or a skeleton.
This is so freaking weird that that's like literally how they see stuff. Like,
And he doesn't like Winnie the Pooh at all.
it's a little bit weird to me because they kind of murder people in the streets. They're stealing organs of people, but no, skeletons and blood is no.
Absolutely spooky.
Too-
CCP is 100% spooked.
That's like what really weirds me out. It's like, why?
Costume for the live action movie of Alice in Wonderland from the 90s. Here we go, I'll put it in the chat.
I'm gonna need you to stop.
Yeah, I will. I'm just trying to find something to draw.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
that sounds disturbing as hell.
Hello, I want to die.
Draw Winnie the Pooh.
Alright.
You know, he's illegal in there.
No amount of protective shell can protect me from the pain inside.
Oh my gosh.
Do 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 do.
Man, I should be a cartoonist. I can draw simple shapes really easily.
Cartoonists are fun. I know a few cartoonists. Pretty cool people. I mean, Nebel here's a cartoonist.
I don't know if I'm a cartoonist.
Are you a political cartoonist?
No.
Oh, hell no. I'm about as far removed from that as you can.
What I mean is he's an animator.
Oh, you animate?
I do, actually.
Do you use Go Animate like the professionals?
You're
I
disgusting.
do not,
Good job.
because I have not paid for it.
You have to pay for Go Animate? Oh, never mind.
No, you go for the one that Miyazaki uses that's like free.
I tried that animation tool and it was very janky when I had it.
Yeah, it's from his time. It's from Miyazaki's era of old people sucky
Did you know that-
technology.
Did you know that animation tool was also used by the same team that made the early seasons of Futurama?
Check it out. Do you know that Maya is what's used to make South Park?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay.
I used to watch this show called The Science of the Movies in the Discovery Channel.
Yeah.
And one of the episodes they took us tour on South Park Studios,
Oh, that's so
and
cool.
they showed them how they made an episode.
I love that. I also like that like mini movie they made called like 7 Days to South Park.
My God, that environment must be fucking hectic.
I mean, yeah, but they love it. I mean, they get like a few months off.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a very hectic workplace, but they seem to be really enjoying it. Like, everybody went in when they were making the Stick of Truth and stuff. They were all like, hey, we're here for the session. We brought the whole entire crew, and they all just walked in, and they all said, okay, guys, we're gonna make the story for this game, and they just made it like an episode. Just like they were so shocked. Everybody in the from Ubisoft was like, I've never seen something like that before in my life. But yeah, they wanted to be hands-on, and I just think that's like one of the most creative, fun things out there. And this is why I can't stand like silencing and censorship and so forth.
Censorship is the worst thing you could ever do.
Yeah, like I'm fine with like, yeah, we do need limits and rules for like things that 8-year-olds are gonna see. But for a show like South Park and other stuff, what the heck?
Oh, no, I totally agree with that. I just do not agree with silencing a person's voice just because you do not agree with their views.
Like, the other day, somebody was asking, is this any different than the Copernican fiasco? Like, stuff on their side, like, what they believe is correct politics and so forth. They've always been loud and outspoken. Like, coworkers that are against ICE, they're totally fine with. They do a lot of LGBT pride stuff. They help reinforce a lot of different things. But when it comes to another country saying their own feelings, then they suddenly mysteriously censor them and everything, even though they've been heavily preaching about, like, we need to have everybody should feel safe to say what they want and so forth. They had that giant statue with
with the Wolf Rider, yeah.
Yeah, the Wolf Rider said something that was like,
every voice matters,
yeah,
and think globally. They were both covered up by the employees
because of what they did to that Blitzchung.
Because and I think something that's worth bringing up about the Kaepernick situation is at least as far as I understand, somebody can correct me if this is wrong, that the NFL hadn't taken an explicitly political stance.
Yeah, they tried to stay out of politics.
Yeah. Whereas Blizzard had made a lot of political speech, so it's a bit hypocritical of them to do that and yet expect their players to keep their minds on the game. Now, one way or the other, I don't mind. It's like, okay, if you want to keep all focus on the game and the fact that it's fun and the fact that and the way you play it and the different techniques, okay, that's fine. Just stick to the game.
Mm-hmm.
But that should mean that Blizzard should stick to the game too.
Yeah.
But if Blizzard's going to talk politics, I'm like, well, that should open everybody up to talk about politics.
We live in a country.
Apparently it doesn't.
Yeah, and especially in a country like ours, which is always like freedom of speech. That's a big thing with us. And yet here you are in our very own country being like, we're gonna, because this one country that barely has any power over us is
they have more than they really should.
Yeah, they do. They really do. Tencent is scary. And yeah, so
in fairness, it's more the CCP than Tencent, because doing business with a Chinese company is basically doing business with a Chinese government.
Yeah, because because when you get to a certain height, I think you're the one that told me this, that they're owned by the government, correct?
I believe Toast told you about this.
Okay, yeah.
Toast said that you gotta be at least.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'd probably do it more if I didn't think there were people out there that did a bit.
You do it like one of the best. You're welcome.
Oh, thank you.
I'm serious, dude. You are spot on Kermit the Frog.
Spot on Kermit the Frog. That is awesome.
Dude, have you ever, like, when you sit down with no heels, like, it's funny when he makes Kermit say curse words.
Well, shit, son.
Oh my god, I didn't think you were gonna do that on the stream, man. Yeah, he does that stuff. And
Double Artemis, but Double Artemis.
Yeah.
He does a really good, pretty good shit.
Oh, China.
Oh, child.
Man, everybody's making some really good art.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of eventually like hopping over to my May drawing and starting coloring
Absolutely. I mean,
because I'm starting to run into problems.
You do that. You do that.
yeah.
This is the other one I've been working.
And it's amazing.
Amazing. You say.
Alright, I'm ink the Winnie.
You should ink Winnie the Pooh.
Oh,
Ink Winnie of Pooh.
oh, bother.
Oh, bother. I still can't believe they got this. They still have the same voice actor for Winnie.
Oh yeah, I met him.
Jim Cummings is never going to die.
No, he's immortal. God.
Disney does. That's something that Disney still does.
What?
Great. But they keep the same voice actors for like their.
Oh yeah, definitely. They try and keep as
Not a lot of companies would keep the same voice actors.
They
Well,
try
it's
and,
usually because they ask for more money.
Yep. But Disney can afford that money.
They could also afford to.
Not count out of China.
Yeah,
Yeah, they could definitely do that.
Don't tell the Chinese.
they got the rest of the world.
Yeah, they do, and people love their theme parks and the stuff they bring. So they don't need to do that. I vote we fire whoever's in charge.
Bob Iger.
Yeah, let's go fire him.
I'm wondering how would he even do that?
I don't
How
know.
would-
We'll just
How would he
fire him.
fire?
It'll be great.
Oh, China.
Ball.
This is no place for a bear unless it eats bamboo.
Didn't they starve their? You know that confession bear? So that confession bear apparently came from China, and they weren't feeding the bear. So that picture is of it starving to death.
Great.
Reports
Nice,
are-
China.
If reports are to be believed, that bear was from a zoo that was not feeding their animals in China.
See, communism doesn't feed you.
No, it doesn't.
Not even if you're a bear.
I mean, the only thing that communism does is a great diet.
I mean, you'll lose weight.
You will
for sure.
definitely lose weight. You'll also lose more than that. Probably your hope and dreams at the same time.
Oh well, what were you doing with those anyway?
Yeah, I know, right?
Individualism is a sham.
That's
Persona
individualism
4
is
taught
for
me
people.
that.
What? Persona 4 was all about seeking the truth, man.
I know.
Truth will always set us free, no matter how bad it is. Wait, we spoke about that during the Watchmen the other night.
Yeah. I was just being ironic.
Yeah, okay. Man, I do not shut up about Persona.
Disney pay me. I could draw Winnie the Pooh really well and on model.
Yeah, they only do CGI now because it's... I don't know why.
Not on their TV thing.
Yeah,
Ooh,
gonna say,
I got a great idea.
Yeah?
What's that?
Gonna Jokerify him.
We live
We
in
live in- We live in a society, Christopher Robin.
Do it.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Sweet.
I'm gonna do the Joaquin Phoenix version because that one's just like really clean. Like
It's beautiful.
I really want to. I really want to watch Joker. I really want to watch
I
Joker,
heard it's
but
good.
like,
What's wrong?
yeah, I don't know. Tickets are expensive.
Oh, you mean that? Well, then just wait. Maybe a friend would like to come with you. Maybe there's cheap tickets that will be sold. There's a lot of
Yeah.
options out there. You don't need to feel obligated to go and watch it.
Or maybe
True.
you live in a society. Have you thought of that?
There we go.
That ever occurred to you, Jess?
Yeah,
You live in a society.
there we go. Oh, China.
Just
Oh wait, I gotta add the fucking. There we go.
all right. Now I'm real tempted to upload a picture of something that didn't happen. Give me a
Do it.
Tiananmen Square?
What are you talking about? That didn't happen.
That never happened. It never did.
And if you talk about it, we're gonna throw you in jail. That's how this works.
Yeah, totally.
There we go. It's in the chat.
What is that?
Take a closer look.
What is that? Like I don't see anything. I don't see anything. What are you talking about?
Oh, that's right, because the picture is something.
Oh, I see what you mean. It's a picture of Muppets. Just the Muppets, right?
Hey, well, Kermit the Frog here.
God, what have you done? That's so funny. Oh my god.
Hey, well, Kermit the Frog here at the student protests at Tiananmen Square. I am told they are not happening as the tanks are approaching. Oh, they're getting a little closer now. Ah!
Kermit the Frog has been erased from Chinese records.
Oh my god.
I think. Nerd, are you still alive?
Yes. It's really good.
Just making sure.
As Maxo says, Taiwan #1. I remember that. That was really funny. I remember seeing that video. Somebody showed it to me. That Taiwan #1 video. Did you ever see it?
I don't think I have.
Okay, so this guy, he was fighting against a bunch of I guess Chinese players, and so he realized that, so he just immediately shouts out, Taiwan #1, and they all become very silent, and he repeats it again. He goes, Taiwan #1, and the guy gets like really pissed. He goes, no, Taiwan not #1, China #1, China #1. He goes, no, it's Taiwan #1. They're like, no, Taiwan's #2, China's #1. They go, no, China's #4 behind Japan.
Holy shit.
It was really,
Absolute mad laugh.
yeah, it was really good. So yeah, apparently they get really, like, it was to prove that apparently they get really offended if you don't say they're #1. I mean, I totally get it. Like, patriotism is great and all, to an extent, you know.
In fairness, you also shouldn't tell them if you're Japanese and going to China. Not that
Yeah.
I don't really know why you, but if you are and you go, you don't tell them you're Japanese.
Because they'll kill you.
But again, like, at least they will accost you.
I mean, yeah.
Hey, racist.
I mean, there's a lot of bad blood history, but yeah, that's pretty much sins of the father at this point. It's like, guys, we have to stop hating people.
They're
Things they never
they're
did.
still mad.
Yeah.
They're still mad. But I mean, not that they don't have a good reason to
I
be
mean,
mad.
yeah, they have plenty of good reasons.
But like that entire, like, actually, I think this is true about just about any region on the planet, that
Yeah.
everybody within a certain region hates each other.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like, it's an observation that I've made, that nobody hates white people more than white people. Nobody hates Asians more than Asians. and nobody. Basically, it goes on like that. Nobody hates you like people who know you.
This is so true. It's not even funny, man. That is absolutely true. I do not know what else to draw on this. I think I should draw another picture.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we got
I am hungry and I do not want to eat at midnight, so I'm not gonna dip out. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's absolutely fine. We'll probably stay on for another 30 minutes, if that's okay.
Awesome.
Or until everybody's done with their main picture.
Awesome.
So
Josh, it was nice to meet you.
He does amazing work. And thank
I
you.
wish we could have talked, but your mic is off.
He said that he was in a very loud area, so
It's cool. It's cool. It's
yeah,
cool.
he didn't want to worry us.
Yeah. If you want to follow me, don't, because I don't like stalkers in my vicinity of when I go shopping for my food.
You're so mean.
I don't want stalkers. Do you want stalkers when you're shopping around for food?
I mean, okay,
I wish
I've been
to
stalked.
crump at them.
I was about to say I've never been stalked, but that was a lie.
Yeah. No, social media. I do have social media, but I'm not going to share just because I'm not feeling comfortable right now sharing my social media.
It's okay, you don't need to.
But do follow Nerd Wonder if you've... and Nebel and Josh?
And Josh?
And Josh?
I'm trying to make sure I'm not saying the name incorrectly. Alright, Joshua. Josh is a deviant, and they are all awesome people.
Joshua's a deviant. No, Joshua David's art.
Joshua's a deviant. I said what I said.
Alright, fine. Fine.
Love y'all. Love you, viewers. Yeah, free China.
Free China?
I'm just kidding. Yeah, free China.
I mean,
free China plates.
It could use some freedoms too.
Oh yeah, that's
free Hong Hashtag free Hong Kong.
And then we could free Tibet.
Bye. Yeah, free Tibet.
Dude, they don't deserve that. They're like, you know.
Well. Alright, so. God, where were we? We were having a.
We were talking about Kermit the Frog getting run over in Tiananmen Square at one point.
Oh, yeah, that didn't happen.
Yeah, but you could have fooled me.
Yeah, if you talk about it, you're going to the gulag. You're going to the gulag.
I don't want to
go to the gulag, nerd. Well, don't talk about it. Don't talk about things that don't happen, nerd.
Okay, I gotcha. What things? That never happened at all.
Exactly.
You're crazy.
Now you're getting dangerously close to questioning the party, nerd.
Well, but there's only one party, and it's the only good party out there. It's the Communist China's Communist Party.
You get to live for now.
Hooray!
We'll keep our eye on you. Get you to kneel on broken tiles in the middle of the rain while people throw shit at you.
Does that legitimately happen over there?
It did in the Great Leap Forward.
Oh wow, that's really sad.
It's yeah, there's some real fucked up shit.
Why is China such a dick to everybody? China, remember when you used to be cool? Like everybody was like, "Hey, look, those guys made a really cool wall, and they have really pretty
built
art.
a wall.
They made this really cool wall. Hey guys, look, these guys made like a cool type of fighting style, and they made these really pretty outfits, and they make a lot of colorful stuff. That's like really cool. And now you're just a dick."
Got it. Yeah, I don't really understand it much myself. Besides some hoopla about imperialists and colonists, while ironically mentioning this while adopting a European ideology to mold your country after.
Mm-hmm.
But pointing out inconsistencies, I imagine, is counter-revolutionary.
Oh yeah, definitely. You're not allowed to say these things. Oh, well, you're not allowed to say any of this. This is some illegal stuff.
A person who makes comments like that, let's face it, doesn't deserve their organs.
Yeah, they do, literally don't. Just like certain types of religious groups, they obviously don't need their organs.
Is this what business meetings with Chinese dignitaries sound like?
I actually think, yeah, maybe.
do they talk like this, or they just try and make random points to suck up to them?
I don't know. Honestly, it just sucks butt to live down there. It seems like every time I hear about it, it's like somebody's getting murdered. Like North Korea's super mega bad, no doubt about it. But these guys are pretty bad too.
China's more subtle about this.
Oh yeah.
Than North Korea. But then again, I guess that's kind of like saying a volcano's a bit more subtle than an asteroid impact.
I mean, yeah, that is actually a really good example or metaphor. Yeah. Yeah, because
similarly, but yeah, something like that. Grammar nazy.
Yeah, Grammarnazy. It just seems so messed up, a lot of this stuff. And if you really think about it, we take a lot of stuff for granted over here in America.
Mm-hmm. We certainly
in
do.
many other countries too. You don't need to be from America. Many of us have a lot of really good freedoms that other countries such as China and Hong Kong don't get to enjoy.
Yep. I sure love freedom.
I love freedom.
Oh god, that sounded weird.
Slightly.
Okay.
I love how everybody just likes to shower. What's this? Oh my gosh! I'm gonna open up. What do we got here? We got Neville with his major arm. Very pretty. And
I'd just like to say, Xi Jinping doesn't look anything like Winnie the Pooh.
oh my gosh! Did you see?
Just reminding you.
Is
These
that,
are important things to remember.
Is Joshua drawing? What's his name again? Liberty Prime? Is he drawing Liberty Prime Pooh? Liberty Pooh?
Democracy is non-negotiable, nerd.
Look at it.
This is a beautiful thing.
I know. It's amazing.
It's got his M16, got his Bible. He's ready to go. He's ready to America this place up.
Oh, bother. It's right.
Oh, bother, indeed. Completely unrelated note. Apparently China, ironically enough, has the highest concentration of Christians on the planet.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's one of those ideologies. Christianity is one of those phenomena that the more you try to squash it out, the more it actually grows.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's kind of like freedom.
Yeah.
The more you try to squash it, the more it bites back.
I can see that.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is.
And it really, really is off authoritarian.
Yeah. Yeah, that just sucks that everybody has to hide their religion over there because in a communist regime, you have to be atheist?
They are inherently atheist, but China has tried to get around this by presenting state-approved religions, although they're significantly different from any of the ways they'd be practiced outside of China. The state-approved ones, and especially when you're talking about the state-approved Christian religions, which are the three self-patriotic church and the Catholic and their little branch of the Catholic Church. The most striking thing about it is that it puts the Chinese government above God.
What a great idea. Let's bend that damn knee for those mofos. Gosh darn it. Vatican, why?
Yeah, they apparently they haven't done a terribly good job.
I mean, weren't they the guys that used to go deuce fault all the time? Come on.
Deuce Volt.
You guys used to be like, oh my gosh, hey, that guy doesn't like a religion. Let's deuce vault all over him. Now it's
Nerd,
like...
are you suggesting a new?
Yeah, shoot. I don't want to get in trouble. I'm just being funny, man. I'm just being funny. I swear. It's just a joke. Just a joke. Please don't kill me.
Straight to Gulag. You know how we feel about jokes.
Oh no, the joke police have come for me.
Rip you. You're gonna get re-educated. We're gonna re-educate your kidneys, and we're gonna re-educate your liver, and we just might re-educate a lung or two.
Oh no, I don't want that.
Should have thought of that before you tried being funny.
Oh no!
Rip
So sad.
you.
So sad. Where's my little kitty? Wait, actually, I think I have grayscales. Do I not? I got a grayscale, I think.
Well, that kitty's banned in China.
Yep.
Kitty. That kitty's eyes are gonna get re-educated. Pretty sure there's some rich commie cat that can use them
Oh yeah, totally.
after they've been re-educated.
To the re-education camps with all of us.
Oh. Back to this. Doo-doo-doo. Bazoo. Throwing in bazooms. Are they okay with bazooms? Somebody tell me.
I'm not sure. I know in America certain sections are not happy with bazooms, which is
I mean,
kind
I'm
of
not
dumb.
terrible. I'm
Do
not
it.
terribly happy about that myself.
Just do it, man. Do it for the
Bazoom-
bazooms. Free the bazooms.
Bazooms are perfectly natural.
Nintendo frees the bazooms. Now they're like teaming up with China, and I'm like, don't do it.
Wait, they're teaming up with China?
Well, not really teaming up, but they're going to start releasing the Switch in China.
Huh.
And people are like, oh, great.
Is that why the Overwatch launch got canceled?
No.
Or...
Let's see here. They announced this a while back that they were going to join China. I mean, they were going to try and set it up so Nintendo consoles could be sold in China. I don't think they really care though, because there's a long history with Japan and China, as we already discussed. So I'm pretty sure they were just like, hey, maybe we can get some more cash. But if something happens, they're probably gonna drop everything. What happened was that there was an event. I mean, apparently they're not dropping entirely Overwatch. The thing is, there was going to be an Overwatch event at the Nintendo store in New York. And Blizzard pretty much understood that would be ground zero, like the first moment of any of the protests. Like, they were going to use that as the starter point, like the practice BlizzCon thing.
Okay.
Most likely.
And
so they immediately canceled it.
They nipped it in the bud.
Yeah, and Nintendo was not happy about that, so they announced like Blizzard's being a bitch, and they're canceling. They're canceling the event. By the way, we don't usually do this, but if you want to return your Blizzard, like, they were taking refunds for their exclusive Blizzard version of the Switch.
I didn't even know they had one.
They were coming out with one apparently, and they said, we don't do this, like, a lot of people ask for it and they go, we don't usually do this, but yeah, we'll do this. We'll do this time. And so they're just taking anybody's orders who don't want any more Overwatch.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I mean, Blizzard screwed up. The government, as we've already discussed, is getting ticked at them.
Even the fucking U.S. government agrees that they fucked up.
Yeah, and
how the hell does that happen?
It takes one fuck up to actually unite the political parties together.
Guess so.
To the extent I kind of want to thank Blizzard for that.
Well, let's not get crazy.
Oh, true. Thank you.
But, yeah, in seriousness, this probably is going to be something that may be good, at least for the political landscape in the United States as a whole, because I think it'd be a real thing if we started focusing more on free speech issues as a country. Because I think we've gotten away from constitutional issues for too long. That we start getting caught up in nitty-gritty stuff and trying to micromanage people's lives, and I just don't think the government's not very good at that.
No,
and it was never really designed to, and no country that tries to do it ever really succeeds with any significant success. That was redundant. God.
Well,
oh yeah, none of them really make very great strides in that. That's what I mean.
I mean, hey, thanks for trying, but yeah, maybe it's better off to let people decide. Fates, I guess.
In general, I tend to think people, like individual people, have a better idea of lives. The government. And this goes for, and I guess this goes for Chinese too. I think the individual Chinese citizen, just some farmer in the Yunnan province, probably has a better idea of what's best for him and his family and his community than some far-off bureaucrat over in Beijing.
I agree. I keep getting over these pictures.
But yeah, that's just generally how I feel. And I think it might be good for the country to get back to talking about the Constitution and talking about, like, really base issues, like getting back to the bottom, because I think with a lot of the issues we're talking about, we're so far ahead in the conversation that we're just talking past each other.
Yeah. No,
that we don't even really agree on what a lot of the terms we're using. Like, classic cases, the way we talk about racism. Like there's people who, I mean, we actually do have two completely differing definitions on how we treat racism. One of them is the power plus privilege equation, and the other one is the more common everyday person understanding of, oh, you're discriminating against a race. That's racist, which is, I think, the correct one, and the more it's more of the layman understanding, but I think it's also the correct understanding.
I noticed
But
that,
that's just me.
yeah, you're fine. I realized that my video camera is doing everything in reverse.
Your video camera was what?
My webcam does the artwork in reverse. I think. Oh no wait, I think it's doing it right now. No, it's Discord. Discord shows it in reverse. Oh, that's weird.
Oh, okay. Your video camera is frozen? Oh, okay. There you go. It's moving again.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's just, it's backwards. The picture's backwards.
All right.
That's what I mean.
Pooh's starting to get colored.
Oh yeah, no, he looks amazing. And so does your May. It looks way better than my May.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, you do such a great job on your art.
I got a little upset at the hand, but that's it. I can work on the boost.
Fantastic. We have 8 minutes left. So.
And I'm still in the really scratchy, sketchy phase.
No, don't worry. I mean, like, it's better than this little thing. I tried, guys. Tried so hard. Got so far. And yeah.
Oh. Who all's still in the chat?
Let's see.
Because I've just been rambling on and on and on, and I actually don't even have a browser open.
Let's see here. We got Chrome Dome Omega, Smaxo, Shadow of Austin, Toast has been in there, Shadow of Prime. Thank you, Shadow. I'm not like, let's see here, Shinobi Raccoon. I think we had Tom T a little while. We had a guy called Easy Bake Oven. I love the name. Let's see here. Who else do we got? Let's see. Yeah. Dishman. The comic otaku is in the room. We got
All right.
we got a few guys. I mean, it's just it's mostly just to have fun in Art Jam, but we're about to wrap up anyway, because it's
Okay.
we've been going over 2 hours or 1, no 2. This was I think this is good.
I haven't even really noticed how long we've been here.
Yeah, we've been here for a little bit, just a little bit. We'll show everybody's art just really quickly.
All right. I guess I could turn off source.
Okay. So it's my little guy. Got little Hong Kong, but Snipers.
So this is the one I drew, and I have not yet finished.
Sure. It's pretty. You signed it! Yay!
Do.
Very nice.
Do.
Very nice. Of course, we got Winnie the Pooh from the 100 Acre Wood. But Mecca. Capitalist Pooh. What do we call them? Freedom Prime. Liberty Pooh. I need this as a shirt. I swear to God, I need this.
Well, death is it is a preferable alternative to communism.
This bear is illegal in several in China.
Mm-hmm.
This bear is illegal. I love it.
That's one contraband ban.
Gosh, I love this stuff. Yeah, that's what we I think everybody did a great job.
All right.
Okay. Let's see who else is in the chat, I guess. I will turn down my volume and find out. We got 16 people in the chat fully.
Oh shit. That is honestly more than I expected.
People were hyped for this a little bit. We got Rebirth was in the is in the chat, I believe. Oh wait, I can click and find out who's in there. I think. Okay, I can't, but I can figure it out. All right. We got Toast. Smacks Out, Toast, Guardian Kite, Maisie. Shadow Wolf Prime. A lot of people that haven't talked. Easy Bake Oven, who I already mentioned, has the best name ever.
Right.
I'm never gonna shut up about that. Tom T. Smaxo, one of our good friends. Smaxo. And Toast is, of course, one of our very good friends, too. Shinobi Raccoon, another really cool guy. And that I think, and Shadow of Boston is in the chat as well, along with the Comic Otaku. And I don't see anybody else chatting, but apparently we got a few extra people that are checking us out. That's kind of nice.
Alright.
Yeah.
Pretty neat.
We had a lot of people that just came and joined and just wanted to see some art and learn about Hong Kong and what we can do. You guys went through a whole entire list. Switch went down a large list as well on how we can help with the Hong Kong protests. Though we can't really do a lot. The best thing we can do is to check out where some of our products come from and see if we can find an alternative. Already, a lot of companies are trying alternative places. I know there's a few shops being opened in America instead, which I guess also helps the unemployment issues, but nobody knows if these people are getting paid well. But let's see here, what else? I hear that the new cell phones of Apple, they, instead of being made in China or Taiwan or another of China's little owned territories, they chose to be, they're now being built in India. So yeah, a lot of people are moving out. A lot of people are like, you want to know what? No, I don't need to support this. Also, because America's passing bills and stuff, and it looks like America's trying to pass a bill that's like, we're going to go and check on Hong Kong, make sure they're not getting hit. You know, every 3 months we have to go in and ask, did he hurt you? Where in the doll has he touched you?
He touched me in my freedom. Oh man.
Oh my gosh, we're going to hell. This is.
But yeah, that. I think I'm kind of optimistic for the future, given what the reaction has been like.
Oh yeah,
and,
definitely.
And especially the thing that was really telling that I think is going to be that might be a good sign is who was angry.
Yes.
Customers were angry. The government was angry. Even employees at a lot of these companies are angry about it. There's just a lot of people that are really upset about it, and you know what? They band together. They might be able to make the difference they want, because there might be 1.4 million of people in China that they're trying to cater. By the way, of whom they're probably only catering to like a tiny percentage of.
Definitely. We already know that some of these people, I don't think, have like computers or income to go and see these pieces of entertainment.
Yeah, so really they're just catering to the Chinese government. So eventually there could potentially be enough force to make some things better. Make some things.
That'd be great. We can find some way to
we'll see.
help everybody.
We'll see. At the very least, maybe we can get Blizzard to listen to Americans instead of protecting the dignity of their country. Wonder which one you're talking about there. Hope you're talking about America when you say our country from now on.
I know, right?
If you say that at all. You can think as globally as you want, but remember that globe includes Hong Kong and the US of A.
Gosh, yes, it does. Well, I think I know. Like I put up Joshua's picture, but I think we're all done for tonight. If you guys want to wrap up here, that's okay.
All right.
Yeah, that thing looks like amazing. Also, everybody's piece looks fantastic. I have to say.
There we go. I squeezed in a poo and this.
What? Oh my gosh, we have to say that. Oh my gosh, it's a poo skull. Oh, Pooh, the Pooh skull.
There we go.
Yeah. Oh, that looks awesome. I love it.
Alright.
We got a Winnie the Pooh. We got Cat. We got all the Winnie the Poohs. We got a bunch of names. I think think we did good. I think we had a fun time. I really want to
Yep.
say thank you guys so much for joining me on this stream. Thank you very much. I guess I'll just boop. There you go. There you guys can see it for a few seconds. But
Okay. Where am I?
this is a thank you again so much. I'm sorry that is probably a little bit too fast or too slow for some people, but thanks. I really do enjoy this, and yeah, this is kind of a new thing that I'm trying, and I hope to do more in the future. See you guys later.
All right. Take care, guys.